It's better over here.
Now at T-Mobile, get 4 5G phones on us and 4 lines for $25 a line per month when you switch with eligible trade-ins. All on America's largest 5G network.
Minimum of 4 lines for $25 per line per month with autopay discount using debit or bank account. $5 more per line without autopay, plus taxes and fees and $10 device connection charge. Phones via 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue bill credits or credit stop and balance on a required finance agreement due. Bill credits end if you pay off devices early. See T-Mobile.com.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
You know that feeling when your favorite brand really gets you? Deliver that feeling to your customers every time. Memorable moments like these are key to building your business and your brand. Klaviyo turns your customer data into real-time connections across AI-powered email, SMS, and more, making every moment count, so you can continue to build smarter, more meaningful relationships with your customers. Build smarter digital relationships with your customers and make every moment count with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/BFCM.
What it do, listeners? Yes!
No. What?
Do you know why I'm doing that? Do you know why I'm saying that?
Why?
Have I not told you this? Because one of these gentlemen that I am, as the young people say, talking to, I prefer the phrase liaise, but with the guy I'm talking to, whenever we talk, he comes into my apartment. The baseball cap is at like a 45-degree angle. He comes in the door and he goes, what it do, daddy? I swear to God.
Dominic, are you serious?
I'm not. I'm not making this up at all. He is a born and raised Bronx New Yorker and has the thickest Bronx accent and comes in my house and says, what it do, daddy? I'm telling you, it's the hottest
Dominic,
moment of my week.
I've been shocked into silence. Are you kidding me? And the fact that I have spent so much time with you recently in person and you have not brought this up to me one time off of this microphone.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, he's changed my whole life. I don't like any sort of age reference at all when I'm talking to people. And I have met this person. He insists on calling me daddy. And it is, my pants are off quicker than if there were lead weights in my pocket. I'm going
to go throw myself off of a bridge.
What on earth?
I thought you were doing an impression of Ludacris or Lil Jon from the Super Bowl. You're not doing that. Like, what? And now to know that this is what it is even worse.
I'm doing an impression of a paramour of one of my associates. Yeah, it's pretty insane. But I have to say, I'm going to leave it there. Actually, I did have a second part of this, but we'll save it for a future broadcast.
Yeah, Mike. Wow. Okay.
I'll show you pictures of this gentleman. He does not look like what you think. I will tell you that.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave that cliffhanger for next week. Because what could Dominic mean? What could he look like? He doesn't look like someone who'd walk in there and say, "What it do, daddy?" He does not look like that.
This poor person. Okay. Moving right along.
I'm just thrilled that he's saying daddy instead of mommy. That's like the miracle. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I
know
not
exactly what you mean, Dominic.
as Liza Minnelli as I am in life. I do act like an actual man when it's called for, and we'll leave that at that, so my mother doesn't steer off the expressway and into a
light herself on fire. Yeah.
Big week because we're going to recap a sporting event here, people. A sporting event.
Buckle up. Okay, now first and foremost, I will tell you, watching this, I watched the whole game. I watched the whole Super Bowl. And
same.
When I tell you that I, at my Super Bowl party, was the person that knew the most about football, and I impressed myself by knowing so much about football and how it works.
Butch Queen, first time in drags.
Like,
I am proud of you, Christopher.
Truly was proud. Like, obviously they're not going to go for the 2-point conversion. Like, obviously, blah, blah, blah. And like, no one else knew what I was talking about.
I also watched the game from beginning to end. I still don't know what you're talking about. And I stared at the TV the entire time.
I mean, did you see Travis Kelsey's quote? I'm using the word speech the most, so loosely that I want the letters to fall apart and not make a real word.
They're done. We
done.
saw her get done with him on live television. Yeah. She knows it. We know it. He knows it.
He knows.
Everyone. I bet he is playing that Viva Las Vegas thing back over and over on his phone and thinking, I just got broken up with Times Woman of the Year. I've just blown my entire life by doing that.
And like punching himself in the face for it.
Well, he should. He's not going to get over it. You could tell afterwards their interaction was so... When she's like, you were unbelievable. I've never seen something like this in my entire life. Girl, yes, you have. You're Taylor Swift. Like, you've seen this. Is
you
nothing.
Look in a mirror every day at your own performance and you see something way better than whatever P.S. Like, not to get into the sports of it all, but he was terrible in the game. Like, he didn't do anything. Like, he
screamed at his coach. Star. Very disrespectful to that man.
Yeah, I don't like that. Didn't like that. Meanwhile, they probably do that every fucking time, and we're like,
know what he did. Yeah, that's probably how they say hi to each other, and we're like, "Stop it!"
Yeah,
anything to be an asshole.
But he,
but she was like,
he's not this star player that like he didn't do shit at the Super Bowl. Like, he didn't do anything. It was all the other players. But yeah, that speech was rough.
And some real hotties, if we have to say. You know, I'd like to introduce a regular feature on this podcast where I think I do it already, but we should have like a song and a title for it where I objectify one straight man officially on this podcast every week, just to get them back for all the objectifying they've done over the years. And I don't know his first name, which is, I don't know, probably because I'm a whore. I have no idea. But this guy was the kicker for the 49ers, and his last name is Moody. He was really the player of the day because every time this guy got up there, he did what he was paid to do. And then he took his helmet off, and he wasn't what I was expecting. And I thought to myself, yes, from head to toe, yes, he was my favorite of the day, looks wise, which is why I'm watching football, essentially.
Okay, who I was looking at was at the coin toss in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Number 54 on the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers side.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Warner.
Okay.
Ding dong. Ding dong. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
like,
he's giving Momoa to me.
I was
he's
like, who is this?
Momoa.
Who is this Tyson Beckford type that I'm seeing on my screen? Like, he was hotter than hot. They made Travis Kelsey look like a hick with a little thistle coming out of his mouth and a straw hat. Like, for real.
Yeehaw, bitch.
Yeah, yeehaw. Hey, y'all. Like, for real.
But look, I love me some Patrick Mahomes. I still think he's a tasty treat as well.
Sure.
I did think that Travis Kelsey was attractive, I guess, until the Super Bowl, and I just no longer do.
No, the Viva Las Vegas has ruined it for everyone. For American
It lost
society.
me. And that whoever interviewed him at the end and goaded him into singing, "You got to fight for your right." It was almost like that guy was like, "Let's put a final nail in your relationship with Taylor Swift and sing this piece of shit too. Go for it. Go sing it all. Go to karaoke, Travis."
Their kiss at the end, like where that's the picture that's on Instagram all day today. Like, can we be done now? Like, you got what you wanted. Like, I'm so over them. I'm so done. Like,
So
I don't care. She, and you know what? The Swifties are gonna come for me, but she finally isn't the girl in the band. Like that. What's that song that she has in her music video? She's like the band nerd. You Belong With Me, right?
No, that's the point.
People are sending bombs to my house. People are sending bombs to my house.
I bet they won't.
But
I bet they won't. I bet Swifties agree with you. I bet they're done.
Finally, like, I'm the cheerleader and I'm with the football player. Like, that was what that was. And then she realized what it is to be with the football player and be embarrassed every day because he's a buffoon. And that is rough.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, her outfit was bad. And her hair looked really bad.
I think that she showed up there like a normal woman. No, I think her choices were intentional.
This is a billionaire. This is a billionaire. Like,
she doesn't need to though. She doesn't. That's the thing. It's like she doesn't even need to play the part. She's already the most powerful woman in the world.
Yeah,
it doesn't
she
matter.
doesn't even.
However,
You're right.
If you're gonna dress down, you got to make sure you're not standing next to the winner of the evening, who for me was Blake Lively. Do not stand next to Blake Lively when Blake Lively looks like that. If you're going to tell me that Blake Lively wasn't the most gorgeous person in that arena, I am going to change this podcast name to Fixing Chris DeRosa, and I'm going to fix you today.
She is beautiful.
Stop it.
She is beautiful. It was the outfit was giving like one hair away from being a racist Halloween costume.
Blake Lively?
Yes. It was like the gold chain with
on what planet?
It was like a CMT versus BET party that I would have went to in college.
I cannot.
That's what it was giving. She is
cannot.
beautiful though. Okay, we're moving on. I don't care about
that hair. I mean, the moment we saw the two of them together, I was like, Taylor, do not stand next to Blake Lively. Stand next to Ice Spice or that other friend of yours with that severe
whoever that person
Tina
was.
Belcher bob. What was that? Good
I don't know.
Now, in life, we don't talk about physical appearances, but on this podcast, yes, it's all we talk about. I'm very sorry, but she had to stop. I have to say, though, the whole day, because this was probably the first time I can't even remember the last time I watched the Super Bowl, the pregame, the postgame. Like, I sat there and watched all of it. And it really is, in a billion ways, the most American day of the year. Like, Super Bowl Sunday looks at July 4th and says, how dare you? How dare you show up here in the summer with fireworks, pretending like you are the harbinger of all that is United States of America. You do not even come close. You are a barbecue with electric and gun-powered lights. That's all you are. I am Super Bowl Sunday. I am a gladiator event organized by white people where everyone in every other marginalized group spends the 11 hours of this broadcast screaming for attention, whether it's the Black National Anthem, whether it's Jesus running ads during the Super Bowl, whether it is fucking Scientology. What are you talking about here?
Where's Shelley?
All of these things, like, it's a whole day of people. And then in the middle of it, it somehow turns into something that is gayer than Pride with the Wicked trailer and Beyonce dropping new music in the middle of all of this. What did we take that over? Is it official now? Is Super Bowl Sunday now a Pride event? Like, what is going on?
Usher performed, so, gay representation.
When he took his shirt off, I really did think to myself, this was an event initially that was made for straight men, period. How did we get here 2 minutes after the Wicked trailer this guy is impregnating all of the viewers and removing his shirt and shaking his hips. It was insane. The whole thing was it's such a smorgasbord of people screaming for attention that it is America. We should have off the Monday after. We should.
Because it really is the biggest, like the most viewed thing all year. And so every single eye is glued to the TV, whether you're whoever you are, and they all are clamoring for that. That's what all social media is. That's what every influencer is. That's what everything that we do now is just for views. So like what we do this podcast so people will download it and listen to it. Like it's what runs our entire society now. So the fact that we know funny. That this is the biggest version of that. It's like you really are right. Everyone is fighting for like some semblance of screen time during this broadcast more than ever.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that I was very underwhelmed with the Super Bowl ads. Like, I don't feel that the Super Bowl ads, there were a few, yes, that were still like Super Bowl ads, but like on the whole, most of the ads I'd already seen. They came out last week.
Correct.
They were like the one with Christopher Walken where everyone does a Christopher Walken impression to his face, which I think is so fucking funny. Saw it last week. Like, that wasn't new. And the
Judge B
like,
thing
I just
would have floored me if I had seen it that night. Yeah, it was, but I'd already seen it.
But we had,
right.
Yes. Not really, but like the Arnold Schwarzenegger being State Farm, like being Jake from State Farm, like it was stupid, but like it would have been but I already knew weeks ago that was what it was going to be. I remember like being younger and like the Super Bowl ads would come out and it was like, that was the biggest thing. And it was like this big, huge, like, which was the best ad and who liked the ads best and blah, blah. It's not even a part of the discourse anymore about like what, like if we did this podcast 10 years ago, we would have went through and we would not even have talked about the game at all. We would have talked about every one of the ads and made fun of them.
I had two favorite ads. The second one you and I are going to have a fist fight about in a moment, but the one before that, the Michael Cera ad, I saw already. I laughed my way through. I hadn't seen it. That's why I saw it.
It's hilarious, but I saw it already.
It's hilarious. I thought it was so hilarious from start. I did not buy the product, but I'll remember it. Forever.
It was very funny, but I had seen it already.
Now, one that you obviously hadn't seen was one that almost caused a full meltdown on our group text, which was the Dunkin' Donuts ad featuring one Jennifer Lopez.
Every fucking loser alive that I fucking hate. Yeah.
Benjamin Affleck, Matthew Damon, and Thomas Brady. I reacted reflexively when I saw Ben Affleck, and I was like, absolutely not. And I might have said it out loud. But when he walked in the room, oh my God, I'm only making this connection now. Didn't he walk in the room with Jennifer Lopez? He was like, "What's up, Bronx?" I mean, that's the guy I'm hooking up with. What it do, Bronx?
You saw yourself in the ad. That's why you loved it so much.
Because I saw myself as Jennifer J-Lo. Lopez and my gentleman caller as Benjamin Affleck. Why did you hate it so much?
You will find out soon enough on an episode where we fix Ben Affleck and J-Lo, but everything he does irks me to my absolute core. And I just think he's like so not talented and like such a loser. And like everyone loves him for absolutely no reason. And he's like a terrible person. I just don't like him at all. And it wasn't even like funny where if it was like Jason Bateman doing this or like, there's so many different people that could have been like, oh yeah, like what up? But like him doing it, I'm almost like, I think you're kind of serious and you like would talk like this and you're a loser. I don't know. I really don't like him. And it was just so many celebrities in one commercial and it was just so dumb.
As someone who hates a lot of people, some of them with the passion of 1,000 suns, I think that's the heat of 1,000 suns actually, but my sons are passionate. I won't even try to argue with you. Like when you don't like someone, there's very little, especially us, there's very little, if anything, anyone can say to change your mind. So I want to be clear. I'm not trying to change your mind. I reacted viscerally when I saw him as well, but when I realized what it was, I don't know why. I'm not now a Ben Affleck fan, but to me, this was a douchebag acknowledging that he was a douchebag and then appearing in a commercial with a bunch of people that everyone thinks are douchebags. And I sort of had respect for it. I think I liked it because you want Jennifer Lopez in real life to feel about Ben Affleck the way she felt about him in that commercial because that's how we feel about him. So
Yes.
I was okay with them making fun of themselves. And I also, I know that I'm not going to lie about having a crush on some very problematic people,
hot.
but you know what? Some problematic people have a crush on me too. I'm going to just say that out loud and I won't name names. However, I love Matt Damon. I don't know why, but ever since Good Will Hunting, he delivered one funny line in that whole thing and I fell on the floor. I was like, all right, oh my God. If we don't start doing video on this podcast, because the face you're making should be put on a coin for a nation called Hatistan.
Sure, it was funny. It was the easiest joke possible. And this is half of why I can't stand them is that like they don't actually have to do anything. And we think that they're like the funniest people alive.
Shall we talk about the halftime show itself? I was underwhelmed in the hours that have passed since then. I was just basically underwhelmed. Usher's very talented. He's beautiful.
Yes.
He's been around a long. He's a veteran.
Yes.
He knows what he's doing.
Yes.
He is this generation's, and I mean list them. He's also this generation's Usher. And
did he sound great? Yes.
Sure.
Was he dancing? No, I think he sounded exactly like the songs. Like he had his singing was good.
Sure.
He danced well. This is my problem. Did I think he did a bad job? No. Did he do way too many songs where he's just doing like one line of a song to say that he performed it at the Super Bowl rather than like a verse and then one chorus of a song? Yes.
Sure.
Like, should he have sang one line from Confessions and then Burn? No, I would rather him just sing the first verse and then the first chorus of Burn and never touch Confession. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I think back less songs and like songs with intention versus I always felt like he was running to the next mark to like get to his next spot that he needed to get to. And it wasn't using the performance to get him there. Lady Gaga, like I went back today and watched a bunch of the other ones like that we liked. Like every move that Lady Gaga made around the stage, it made sense for where she was going next and why.
Right.
And like, whereas he would like disappear to like go put on roller skates, which again would be fun if then I got a whole song where he's singing and doing choreography in roller skates with other backup dancers also in roller skates. Like that is, in my opinion, incredible. Like that's blow me away. But it was like I can roller skate. So I'm roller skating around the stage for a second and then I'm going to take them off and then I'm going to perform the biggest song of the 2000s.
I think you'll agree too that accepting that gig, many people turn down doing the halftime show.
It's too hard.
It is utterly thankless. Like there's, with obviously everyone has their favorites, but for every favorite we have, someone hated that. There are people that didn't like Prince. There are people that didn't like Beyonce or Madonna or Gaga. Do I think that those people should be put in jail? I do. But they can disagree the way that we disagreed about Usher. He has a Vegas residency. I don't know if it's freshly done or if he's in the middle of it. A lot of what he did in this halftime show is directly from that. And I felt like it looked like it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You know what I mean? It felt like it was for a bit of a smaller venue, not for the Super Bowl.
It was too much like Michigas. Like at the beginning when it was like all that like weird, like almost like a Mardi Gras, like not Mardi Gras, but like almost like a New Orleans-y jazz. Like there was like the women with the feathers, and then there was like a dancer, and the guy like got launched over everything. There was all these like performers, and I was like, just sing. Like I don't need to see any of this. I need you, the performer that I'm here to see, sing a really good song and do a really good job and dance. He's one of the best dancers we have. P.S. Sure. I know we like forget about this. Like when Michael Jackson died, like he started to be like, I am like, many look to him to be like, you will carry on the legacy of Michael Jackson's like dancing because you like look up to him and like idol. Like the reason he had the one white glove on in the Super Bowl performance is for Michael Jackson.
I didn't notice that or even know about it until you just told me.
He wears one white glove or one black glove in a lot of his concerts, like as an ode to being like, I am the like next Michael Jackson. Not in a weird, that sounds gross, but like in a, this is, you know what I mean? Like I am like the predecessor.
Like an homage. Yeah, for sure.
Like an homage to him. There was a lot of that. The like, when he's going to sing that song, I forget what song it was, but then like when he had the microphone that was then the stand that was like spinning around, like I didn't need to see that. Like that wasn't that cool. Sing more. You know, it went from being like, oh, what weird stuff can we do? And let's do all this stuff. It's like, no, just like perform your songs. That's what we want to see you do.
Also, was it on the group chat or maybe I saw online the spinning mic kept reminding people about Drake's dick, which is not what I wanted to think about during the Super Bowl.
No.
I thought it was you who said that to me.
No, I don't think so.
That's what people thought.
And like we all love him. Like I love Usher. I love all of his songs.
Yeah.
When he started it with "Caught Up," I was like, I forgot about this song, and I know every single word to it. And I was like, he did start it off well. And but speaking of Alicia Keys, should we call her Alicia off key? Because wowie wee wow was she sharp and flat, as you would say. Like that was bad.
I mean, it's an audience of 1 billion people, and you're performing outside. And even though you could have the best audio in the world, when you're performing out there, you're screaming. If you're gonna sing live, you're gonna fucking scream. And she missed the first one. She's so accomplished to me, but when she got up and she was in that outfit, I was like, I don't even care what you're saying. I thought she looked
at the piano. She sounded great, but then when she sang "My Boo" with him, she didn't hit one right note, like not one. Like I could have sang it better, and I can't sing like her. But I love her so much. It's so sad, but it was bad.
The absolute highlight of this whole circus was her. Like far and away, when her came out, I was like, I was like, damn, like everyone in the room I was with started clapping because they were like, shit, this is getting real. And I wish she'd stayed out there the whole time. Like it was like Prince walking out there and just nailing it. And she was great. She looked great. She sounded great.
And again, like she came out, which was great, but it was like so that he could go like put on roller skates. Do you know what I mean?
I think he was just giving herpes to some of the dancers during those breaks. I don't even think it changed.
Up until Rihanna went up in the air on that one, like on the top level of the Super Smash Brothers, like that she was on.
And we were all in a panic because she was pregnant. We were like, don't go up there.
Until she was up at the very top in that singing Diamonds, like that camera was right on her. Like that camera was in the thing with her. It was 2 steps in front of her face and it was with her the whole time. They shot this whole thing. The camera coverage was terrible, 1. And 2, they shot the whole thing like way far back at the like out of bounds line and like zooming in on his face instead of like being right there in the crowd, like looking up at him performing.
You know who was covered well? When her walked out, I know I'm going to, but
it was the only part that was covered well.
She was lit well. She was shot from above when she went down. Like it was choreographed and well. I understand what you're saying. Like it was though his part just wasn't polished enough. I felt like such an asshole afterwards because Leslie Jones went on Twitter and she was like, this is the greatest halftime show ever. And Twitter, for the most part, loved it. And I thought, am I just old and an asshole? And I know I'm both of those things, but is that informing my opinion too much? Because I feel like I can look at anyone and judge them on their own merits. I think I just looked at it as the bar for that performance is really high because it's like the American day.
No, but if you go and watch,
and I
watched Lady Gaga's one this morning, like in preparation to talk about it, like Usher's here, and it's head and shoulders above what he did. Like, and if you look at Beyonce's, like when like Destiny Child came out with her, it's like one of the best performances of anything ever in the entire world. Like truly.
Yeah.
Like the bar is high.
Speaking of Beyonce,
he did a good job.
Sure. He did okay. Yeah, he didn't do a bad job. That's the thing. But it's like, this is like, it's a tough gig. I don't know that I would take it. And I love attention. I mean, you'd think I would stand there and just read from the phone book.
Better than many people that have done it, I will say. I did enjoy it. I had fun. I was singing along. I was bopping around. I had a great time.
Speaking of Beyonce Knowles Carter, I am proud. I watched the Super Bowl with 6 people. We were all staring at the television. We all looked at this Beyonce breaking the internet commercial, which I hadn't seen. Well, I don't think anyone's seen it. I thought it was super clever.
Yep.
Tony Hale recreating his role as the
Hilarious.
body man from Veep. Absolute inspiration.
Hilarious.
I feel like I was the only one paying attention in the room when they just cut to the spaceship moving away. And she said, well, they've been good. Let's give them the new music. And we all just sat there. And I sat up and said, did anyone just hear that? As though a nuclear bomb had gone off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The internet is so quick that I said, I waited 1 human second. And then I said, did you all just hear that? Because I think she just announced new music. And everyone said, I don't know. Should we rewind? Blah, blah, blah. And in that maybe 12 seconds of discussion, I went to Twitter and billions, if not trillions of people had also, I wasn't the only person who heard it, just the only person in the room. I was proud to be the person that went to Twitter to confirm for everyone in the room, and people were losing their minds. The entire planet revolves around Beyonce Knowles and Taylor Swift, period. That was 2023.
I'm exhausted from it. I'm exhausted from it.
Well, you better do a bump because 2024.
I know.
It's gonna.
I'm happy it's happening, but like it's too much. Like I can't do this again. I can't do this again.
Honey,
it's too much.
It's already here. I mean, last week, Taylor gets up there and says April 19th. Beyonce says, I can name that tune in one note, bitch. March 29th is when mine comes out. So here we are going to be in 1 year again. It's going to be Taylor versus Beyonce for album of the year. Will Taylor win an unprecedented 5th? Will Beyonce even go after Jay-Z said what he said? Blather. Here's what I have to say. I thought that the tour was Act 2 of Renaissance. I didn't know. She pulls fast ones like no other celebrity living. I don't know what the structure of her NDA system is at Beyonce Inc., but there are dozens of people that know when this music is going to drop, and they don't fucking tell anybody. That is the loyalty that any deity would want to them. This is insane.
Yeah. 2 things. 1, to quote Lenithia Leaks, move in silence, and Beyonce does that. 2, remember when
I don't. On behalf of all Beyonce fans, in all caps, how dare you? The insinuation that Nene Leakes is influencing the moves of Beyonce Knowles Carter.
To quote, also, okay, remember whenever Maya Rudolph pretended to be Beyonce doing Hot Ones?
Yes.
And she was like, Todd, shut it down. And then she walked away, and the guy comes out and he goes, okay, this never happened. And he's like, you are going to destroy all the cars. We are burning the set. And and if you walk out of this set without signing an NDA, you will be shot. Like, that is truly like, you will be executed if you think that you're going to like get out of here without signing away your life. God. Secrecy. And I respect it. She is truly, in my opinion, one of the only people that still is able to do what she does. And maybe Taylor is now a part of this, that she's like still able to be this famous without doing any interviews, anything, and like just truly doing everything on her own terms.
And no, we're gone from what I think is her greatest album, was Renaissance. And I mean, I don't know that I've listened to any album in my life from beginning to end as many times as I listened to Renaissance, which I guess will now be known as just Act 1. And still no visuals, like no visuals to speak of. And she's just like, I said no, and they're never coming. And it's still a masterpiece regardless. And maybe she'll do it again. What about the hints she's dropping? She fucking showed up to the Grammys dressed as Yosemite Sam, and we were like, oh, Beyonce. And then a week later, she's like, well, guess what, bitch? That was an announcement.
Yeah.
Whew. breathless. She makes me breathless for real.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, enough of this. We're blabbing. I mean, it's Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot.
So we have things to do. You clearly have people to see that I don't know about that I know about now. And we're wishing everyone a great Valentine's Day. And for Valentine's Day, we are going to bring you an episode about a very, very powerful and dynamic and out of their fucking minds couple.
We think you will have heard of them.
Yeah, maybe you've heard of them. And now let's get to them and our guest. You know him from the hit pop culture / reality TV podcast, So Bad It's Good. It's Ryan Bailey. Thank you for being here. This is a big one, Dominic.
Hit.
So you're gonna
with capital H. Hit.
Are you gonna fix me today? Did I misunderstand the concept?
I think quite the opposite. We'll be taking your notes at the end of this, basically.
All this to say, we are begging to just live fix someone to their face. So
I mean, by the way, that's not a bad idea. That's a great Patreon level, is we'll fix you together and try to get your life back on track. Yeah.
Right to your face. Yeah.
You just would have to find a celebrity that would actually humble themselves to
appear. Oh, Dominic, I don't even mean that. I mean normal people. I mean, let's screw the celebrities. Let's get to normal people, civilians, and fix their lives.
Ryan, we're in the lab cooking. Don't you worry.
We actually are in the lab cooking that up. But we'd love to do as a live celebrity, though, too. I mean, how low?
Could you imagine?
How low would you have to sink to come on this, the 17th most popular pop culture podcast hosted by 2 white gay men, that you would have to sing to come on this podcast?
Listen, everybody's doing that Special Forces TV show. I think they'll do this.
Oh, that's true. We should really be talking about that, Chris.
I know. Don't worry. We will be. I have a few in the hopper that are coming on that were on that show. So don't you worry. Ryan, for the 2 people that listen to this podcast that don't listen to your podcast, tell them what it's about.
You know, it's just about, I mean, overall, I say it's like about all the pop culture we love to hate, but that's like a little disingenuous. It's that we basically love these things. And I always just encourage people to lean into what you love. Is that I grew up in Kansas, and I wasn't into sports. I was into pop culture. I was into getting that Us Weekly. I was into like pre-internet of just going through every picture and the magic of Hollywood. And, you know, that then grew into an obsession with reality TV. And they all kind of like have that thin connective tissue, though. You know, I was the kid in Kansas that would get a copy of Variety magazine instead of some like Sports Illustrated. Like I was the weird kid that would focus on box office statistics overseas rather than like, you know, yards and passes and all of those things.
Totally.
But it's like a deep love. So it's a mix of everything. It's pop culture, but it's like reality shows are at its core of like, we'll do full line by line recaps, like their theater. We will do a pop culture roundup. I mean, you know, the exciting thing is to talk to guests and kind of see where their gift is. I mean, like you guys, hopefully you'll come on at some point, and it's just trying to find that thing that we all have this commonality on. And, you know, like the listeners out there, they're brilliant. I mean, everybody grew up loving something so dearly. And I think it's just that appreciation and highlighting how many exciting moments there are in pop culture. And even to this day, and kind of graphing the changes in terms of how we approach media now. Like you guys were talking about award shows last week, or whenever this comes out, is that you want people to appreciate TV. Like the Emmys were great. Now we have to sell the Emmys, because it took another huge, massive ratings dump. And it's like, how do we get people to appreciate these things that are appreciating the things? Like, how do we get people excited?
And not for nothing, did you see one article written being like, the Emmys were great? No. If it was good, if it's good, then it's just silence. If it's bad, then everyone's writing about it. If the Emmys are actually successful in the sense that they delivered a good show, it's like the ratings sucked.
But success is not measured like that. It's just, with us, it's measured like that because we thoroughly enjoyed it. But all anyone actually cares about who would employ us is how many people watched it. But people missed out. I thought it was good. There were some great concepts in there that they should have they should do reunions every year of old shows.
It was
Why not make it a part of it? Yeah, it was
I mean,
wonderful.
it really made you appreciate all of the TV that's come before, get you excited about new television shows. The only bad thing that I thought was so dumb was that how do you have this on the heels of the Golden Globes, the Critics' Choice? They like, why put it in the same? Like, I know it's usually not in January, but I'm like, how did you not get a calendar together and say, are we pushing award show too much in this 2-week period?
Right.
Yeah.
I have to say it's almost embarrassing having you here because your voice, you have such a great, powerful voice. And Chris and I sound like Joe Pesci's grandmother's having a fist fight, basically.
No, your voices are great too. I was actually, I was listening to 2 hours of you guys today. I love your voices. Like, that's the cool thing, is that you fall in love with voices. Like, I was just listening to a David Sedaris audiobook because I love David Sedaris, and I used to just read his books, but then you miss out on something because his voice is so beautiful and so like inviting and funny in itself. I mean, that's the great thing about podcasting.
Yeah. Based on that criteria, if you haven't yet listened to Barbra Streisand's 48-hour and 14-minute opus, I'm nearing the end, and it's so much a part of my life at this point because I listen to it in like 12 or 20-minute bursts on the train that I don't know what I'm going to do when it's over.
Whenever it's over.
I don't. I might get a job at a Starbucks in Malibu just so I could hear her come through every day and order a drink and feel like that's my fix. I wonder what she orders at Starbucks.
I mean, that's that you have a parasocial relationship now with Barbra Streisand because of this audiobook.
All this to say, Ryan, we are huge fans and we are honored that you are joining us this week to take on a behemoth in the form of Brangelina. Now, this is a conscious choice from Chris DeRosa to deal with these people better. I don't disagree, but they are broken up. And I guess we're doing them together because we feel like they each have their own problems.
But Dominic, they're inextricably linked and will be for the rest of their lives.
Listeners, that entire setup was just so Chris could say the phrase inextricably linked, by the way.
Absolutely.
I don't even know. He doesn't even know if he means that. He
just for the listeners, just so you know, that was Chris saying that. So now you know the difference in their voice. Chris said inextricably.
But truly, though, if you saw a headline that said Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were getting back together, the first thing that everyone would do would be like, where is Angelina Jolie? Like, you know, they are attached at the hip through 900 children, whether you liked it or not. And I think that no matter what, we serve them as an entity. And whether we both, I think, Dominic, it's dealer's choice. If we pitch like a fix for them together, separate, whatever it is, but they have to be discussed in the same episode.
Well,
I love that the overall fix is potentially just getting back together. If you guys get back together, because I believe they are each other's thorn in each other's sides.
Yeah.
Like, I believe they are their biggest issues are each other. This is like a version of like the biggest version of John and Kate +8 that you can get.
Oh, it is sort of like John and Kate +8 meets Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. It's like, we know they hate each other. Can they just get back together? Plus, there's also kids.
Yeah.
Well, and also the mystery of whatever really truly happened on that private jet.
On that plane.
You know, it's alluded to so many times, but it's that mystery and the covering up, even though we, hear so many stories out there about the kids not getting along with Brad, but it's always pushed down. And Angelina, sometimes I don't know if she's Princess Diana or if she's somebody that wants to do action movies, or if the action movies are just a paycheck so she can do more charity work. But she's able to still be petty with Brad Pitt, selling the winery out from underneath him.
Yeah.
There's so many interesting little ins and outs about them post-marriage.
And what Angelina Jolie is actually Princess Diana and Camilla Parker Bowles smashed into the same person. That's who she is, with a dash of Meghan Markle, if I may, just sprinkle her with some new century freshness. Yeah, absolutely.
You absolutely may.
She's all those things.
Brad Pitt is our last, I believe he is truly one of our last movie stars that we will ever see in terms of movie stars. I mean, by the way, I just saw him the other day, 60 years old. It looks like he got like a new face, but it's still the same beautiful Brad. He got like a refresh.
Yeah.
He was at this event with his brown leather jacket.
Internet on fire.
Beautiful.
Yeah. He lit the internet on fire when people were saying he looked like a wax figure of himself. That's how good he looked.
but still like a really like one of the good wax figures, not one of the ones like they did this at Madame Tussauds.
Absolutely. He is one of the he truly is one of the, if not the last remaining actual movie star. I totally agree. He is a person who enters a room and it's just, I don't know how else to say it. I'm trash, so I'm just going to say it. Everyone's wet. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what your orientation is. Brad Pitt walks in a room and you think, I want that on me, in me, all over me.
And then Angelina Jolie, one of the most beautiful, hottest women out there. But at the same time, she's kind of expanded past like what we initially thought of her 20 years ago as hot. Now she's like I keep saying, there's a regal. They're like, she's regal. She carries herself in this way. They dust her off to do promotion for Anna DuVernay's Origin for an Oscar. Like they dust her off for these kind of things of like, we'll get Angelina out there. So it's really interesting how they've managed to keep going with their careers in different ways, because Angelina Jolie started off as the wild child, as the Billy Bob Thornton, as the all of these kind of things,
making out with
kissing her brother,
Ryan. The only reason I want to do that is so we can discuss this.
Chris is obsessed with that,
but I don't think
people forget.
I think people don't know this. So I think we got to go all the way back. Okay.
Well, before we do that, we can't.
You're right.
We can't forget about our favorite part of the hour, which is to have our guest and Chris DeRosa guess the middle names of the people we're trying to fix. If you already know the middle names, it's okay. You can just admit it, and then we'll think of something else to do. But we'll take them one at a time. Let's start with Brad Pitt. Chris and or Ryan, what do you think Brad Pitt's middle name is?
Okay, is his first name Bradley?
I'm afraid I can't answer that question because the answer is no. His first name is not Bradley.
It's not?
No.
Fuck. I think that the name Jeremy came to me, and so I'm going with Jeremy. But if it was Bradley Jeremy, we knew that wasn't going to be his name, but Jeremy.
Okay.
I'm going to go with William as his middle name.
Well, Ryan is the winner, but with a half point.
It was William?
Because his first name is William and his middle name is Bradley.
What?
It's William Bradley Pitt.
Oh my God, that was like
Ryan,
a
that
trick
is very
question.
impressive.
Ryan, you're the closest anyone has ever been.
With a half point, you are in the lead for all 5,000 episodes.
The only reason I guessed that is because my dad's name is Bill or William, and he will always jokingly talk about his, quote unquote, hick roots. And Brad always jokes about his hick roots. And that's why I went with William.
That's great. No, William Bradley Pitt. So it was a bit of a trick question, but we didn't want to change. The board at Fixing Famous People decided we didn't want to change the language for this particular. And finally, what is Angelina Jolie's middle name? I wish you could see these two handsome men staring to the sky, looking for divine intervention with guesses on this, listeners. It is really quite something.
I'm going to go with Ava. Ava for me. Ava.
Shirley.
Bessie.
If it was Shirley, not only would she be a farm animal, but I would also give you $1,000. This is also sort of another trick question because Angelina Jolie's middle name is Jolie. Because her name is Angelina. She was born Angelina Jolie Voigt, and then she was Angelina Jolie Pitt. But Jolie was always her middle name. It was not her last name.
Wow.
I'm forgetting that she's a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another interesting thing. In fact, John Voight had a run-in with Brad Pitt a couple weeks ago at that same event that I was telling you he had the refresh wax figure face. Yeah.
But does a run-in like an argument or a discussion?
No. I guess they were at the same art opening.
Got it.
And they said he was in the same room. I don't know if anything happened, but that's another weird thing to think about celebrities having to deal with ex-in-laws like the rest of us normies have to deal with.
Because for Angelina's first baby, Maddox, wasn't that supposed to be, I believe the intent was that Billy Bob Thornton was going to be the father of the first baby she adopted, right?
I think he was aware of it. Yeah. I mean, because that was right after, how far after Gone in 60 Seconds was that? I just remember, and by the way, just even, does Angelina Jolie still have that vial of blood that they both wore on each other's necks?
Never forget. Okay, so wait, we have to explain because people are gonna like have their hair blown back by this. Angelina Jolie, like the humanitarian, like world-saving entity / like woman who put her leg out in her dress at the Oscars that lit the internet on fire. Remember that? Before she was like the absolute like institution that she is today, she is on red carpets doing movies for HBO where she's putting her nipples through the chain link fence.
It's true.
She's doing Girl Interrupted. She's like basically having sex with Billy Bob Thornton on the red carpet. She's making out with her brother that looks exactly like her.
Please, what is this style of speaking? What is this? It's like a typewriter.
I am trying to collect my thoughts as I speak.
I need to emphasize that she was making out with her brother that looks like her twin in front of cameras on purpose.
I mean, I guess it's occurring to me that there might be a generation of people who don't actually know that Angelina Jolie used to literally be the character that she played in Girl Interrupted. She was a fucking nut job.
Molly Shannon on SNL had a recurring character. I believe it was Molly Shannon as Angelina Jolie. Like they even had her making out with her brother. Like she would go on Weekend Updates. Like that was even a recurring character pre Brad Pitt. So this was something in the public consciousness of that crazy Angelina Jolie because she won for Girl Interrupted.
Yep.
And then she brought her brother to these award shows, not just one, but a couple. We had them, remember when they dove into the pool on top of a hotel after one of the awards?
Yes.
They dove into that. They made out, and she was kind of, I don't know how serious or how jokey that was, but they leaned into it.
They were like a bad boy, like a bad girl and a bad boy couple.
They definitely loved the attention.
But related, yeah.
They loved the attention at the time. They definitely loved the attention, particularly her. That is my memory. Like they loved to shock people with their relationship. When these two got together, it was truly Hollywood royalty, unlike what we had seen in maybe decades.
Even they can't replicate it now. Like they can't, like apart, they are nothing compared to what they were at the time. They were they were A list plus. Like they were A plus, like beyond, no one was more famous than them.
But it's also because the ecosystem doesn't even exist in the same way. So even if there was a couple, we'll never be able to reach those kind of heights. And I love that you said Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, because, that was, that kind of relationship that people just had their eyes on. But it was at this really interesting time where, you had the Us Weeklies, you had like the Entertainment Tonights, you had E! And all that stuff, but you didn't have internet coverage, and also on the heels of the Jennifer Aniston wedding. So they were already filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith together. And I remember this at the time being all of these rumors you would hear, as Meredith marks, the rumors you would hear about this couple, the rumors, but they were like, is something going on with Angelina and Brad? But Brad was still married to Jennifer. And then that, it was very interesting. So whatever was going on, they took a minute after a wrap. And I will always remember that weekend trip to was it Mexico that Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt went on? It was their last weekend as a couple. And you have that famous paparazzi photograph of them hugging on the beach. And it was kind of like that last weekend where whatever happened. And then Brad went full tilt Angelina and then it exploded.
Yeah.
I wonder what
that's what's crazy too, is Jennifer Aniston is a humongous star from Friends. Like she's on the top of the world. And then Brad is in an episode of Friends that like every single person that loved the show like was freaking out about. And like they were like a humongous, they were the couple.
That's why he's the last remaining movie star, because you're not even supposed to give a shit about, like the actors, they swap spouses all the time. But at this level, like Brad and Jen were already sort of like the Liz and Dick of the moment. Like it doesn't get bigger than this. He's the biggest male movie star. She's the biggest female television star, when we were still differentiating back then between TV and film as far as levels of success, which we don't do as much anymore. But Jennifer Aniston was, and still, and I'm a huge fan, but when he then gets with Angelina Jolie, this is this is a coronation. I mean, the fact that they're not together anymore is just a waste. It's just a pop culture waste. My pitch won't be for them to get back together because obviously I don't think that's in the cards, but this split, they're the celebrity couple that all celebrity couples will ever be based on. Like when Kim and Kanye get together, it's just sort of like, oh yeah, we can do that too. It's like, yeah, but you're like the trash version of Brangelina.
Well, listen, Brad Pitt isn't out there buying titanium teeth, like
true. He's got better taste.
I mean, the other thing what was so interesting is that it kind of also bucked that trend of what we all thought was going to happen, because we thought Angelina, wild child, coming out of a Jennifer Aniston marriage, no way this is going to fully work out. And then we started having a brood of children. We started doing Angelina was doing the charity work so intensely and beautifully. They were buying property together, France, New Orleans, all of these different properties. They started at the Plan B, the production company that Brad Pitt run and Jennifer Aniston was.
I love their rosé still, Miraval. I know they're not actively involved, but still love it every summer.
I thought, oh shit, this really must be. This must be a forever couple, because they are planting so many roots so quickly. And it really must, it almost made me believe oh, wow, this must be just two souls connecting on such a deep level that Brad had no choice but to leave Jennifer and Angela. And this is it. So I truly was shocked, because they kept adding kids.
Because they even waited, if memory serves. They were together for years before getting married, right? And then finally, after already having a ton of kids, they got married.
Yeah, their kids wanted them to get married, I think.
No, they were waiting until gay marriage was legalized to get married.
Right. Again, Charlize did that as well, right? And then ended up not marrying the person. So
it's the evil gays' fault that they got married?
Yeah, it is. We're the evil yeah, it's the evil gays. No, but they were going to wait until, that's the thing, is that she went from being this, the biggest movie star in the whole world to being change.org. She was I remember her doing a documentary about the elephants in Africa. She did even amongst all the movies that she did, she would just randomly be this is my cause now. And for 2 years, all she would talk about is whatever cause it was.
Yeah, and she flipped the script. She turned her, she married him, and it was just, you almost wonder she was a bad girl up until she met him. And you almost wonder if she did this on purpose, because maybe she thought America would not accept that version of her taking Brad Pitt away from Jennifer Aniston. I've often thought that the mellowing of her personality was somewhat intentional, because she looked like the villain. She looked like she broke up America's sweethearts.
And you know what? It's that thing when you're really a Nepo baby and you've come from money, where you or either Paris Hilton running out at 15 years old to go to the club, which is what she was doing with her brother, with Billy Bob Thornton's blood in a vial.
Right.
P.S. Machine Gun Kelly could never.
Yeah, I know.
Megan Fox.
Good luck with your banyan tree or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that shit is. Yeah, go fuck yourself. You could that's where you stole that from.
That's hilarious.
But she went from being that to then being that very learned. I'm so bookish. I'm so not bookish, but I'm so eloquent, and I'm so educated, and I'm crusading because I don't have to have a real job because I'm rich,
It was almost like she stole America's heartthrob and then made an effort to seem like she'd earned it. That's
correct.
That's very misogynist.
But I think we kind of bought into that too, though. I think we bought into that.
Yes.
I mean, it was wow. I guess we got it wrong, and that's interesting to come from this. But then you're well, that's the beauty of youth, right? Is that we are figuring out who we are. But also, I think the other thing that helps, the thing that helped them at the time, I think, is also one of the things that hurts them now, was that this relationship, the beginning of it is still so shrouded in mystery. They never really did a full sit down, or have to do a full sit down.
No, they never did.
Brad, we still don't know. With that, Jennifer? Yeah, exactly. So that mystery was so alluring in a way, but you're well, I guess we just buy into it. But nowadays, that shit doesn't fly, and people need to do these full, honest, people feel like they own you, have this weird parasocial relationship. So there's always these little mysteries. And like I talked about at the beginning, whatever happened on that jet, these little mysteries that you get pieces of information, but we still don't know. We
Right.
still don't know how this relationship truly started, and we still don't really truly those moments of Brad Pitt drunk in a jet and what happened with the kids, what their relationship truly was like, because we were presented a bill of goods that was movie stars that were happy, healthy, having kids, doing successful movies, and buying properties.
Right. Even in the beginning of their relationship, even in the years since, every couple of years, Jennifer Aniston will give like another little nugget about what that time was like. Even her account of that time is very murky, because either because she's embarrassed or because maybe she truly doesn't know or doesn't believe the version that she was told. But she's had ample opportunity to say that hug in Mexico was not him saying to me, our marriage is over because I've met someone else. Like, she's had a lot of opportunity to do it and has not. But as far as to me, it's never been a mystery, the beginning of their relationship. They're incredibly hot people behaving the way that I want hot people to behave.
Yeah,
because
no,
if
so, like,
I'm
this
that
is
hot, I'm fucking anyone I want forever. I'm going to start with other hot people first. And that's it. Like, you put those two in a room, you're almost disappointed if they don't have sex. It's like,
But,
why waste the Lord's time this way? Take it out.
Dominic. This is the other thing, is like, the two of them get together. Are they pre-Benifer, or is Benifer first? Benifer one.
Ooh.
Because like,
To the internet.
is Brangelina,
I think they're post Benifer. I think they're post Benifer.
like,
the
which
first time.
couple pioneers the putting the name together thing? Because if they're not the first, they're the second.
Okay, Benifer had a widely publicized 18-month romance from 2002 to 2004.
That was only 18 months of our lives.
Well, I
Is
mean,
that what
felt
you're
like
saying to
decades.
me?
I believe
It
went
felt
on
like
and on.
10 years.
From the soul of Jennifer Lopez.
Don't even. Ryan, it's, I mean, I can't even, we can't even go there. We can't even go there.
They were post Benifer because Brangelina started in 2005, went from 2005 to 2016.
But
So
did-
basically, Benifer crawled so Brangelina could
Yes.
run.
Didn't we have a
really.
Gwyneth Paltrow Brad Pitt nickname?
Gwit, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Pitlow, yeah.
Pitlow.
That actually
Wait, Pitlow's-
sounds like their relationship as well.
Pitlow's really good. I'm writing Pitlow down. Pitlow might have to go in the glossary.
So Ryan, I obviously you've given it some thought because you've referenced it a couple of times here. What if you had to guess what happened on the jet? What's your best guess for what happened there, given the little nuggets we get from half-assed interviews?
I've talked about this. Like, I've been doing this for like 4 years. I talked about this on one of my first episodes, is like, I want to do one act plays of famous celebrity encounters that we don't fully know everything. Like the Brad Pitt, the Jay-Z Solange.
Dominic's face, the shit-eating grin on Dominic's face when you said one act plays about celebrity encounters. I'm surprised he's still conscious.
Where do I send my tape audition?
Listen, the Jay-Z Solange Beyonce elevator ride could be a great
will
one.
go on
play,
tape for
but-
you right now. Just write it.
But like, yeah, the jet plane will always, like, we know certain things from the court documents. We know Brad Pitt was very drunk. We do know that potentially there was a hit or a slap of some sort. The kids were involved. Angelina Jolie was involved. But we don't fully know, but it was so bad. But it also leads to believe whatever happened on there, that wasn't the first time. It was led to believe that Brad Pitt, at that point, we didn't know, was a bit of a drunk. And then he actually now is sober and has been sober for quite some time. And whatever happened, it was kind of this first, like, whoa, Brad Pitt actually has real world problems. Like, I was shocked to hear that he was a drunk, because I always think of as a drunk of like, they're not going to look good on a red carpet forever. And Brad Pitt always did. And Angelina
hit it well.
They all seemed like a unit. They were all the kids would go to the premieres. So whatever happened on that private jet, like there was also rumors that, you know, the the staff, the service of the jet, they had been paid off, or the FBI was involved at some point, or Angelina Jolie wanted the FBI involved. There was all of these accusations and rumors thrown around, but it's still so cloudy and murky for me. And I don't know if that's just PR being able to cover their tracks, like the best in the business of fixers. But I think obviously it was something so bad that within a moment, it was that final straw that a lot of us in relationships that aren't working, you'll have that moment of clarity that something so bad happens where it, what was the word you used? Irretrievable. What was the word?
Inextricably linked.
Oh, well, I don't think that might work, but I would just like that it just breaks it forever, that it is like no coming back from. So I do believe there was a hit of some sort. And I do believe this was not the first time Brad Pitt had aggressive behavior around his family. They seem scared.
Yeah. And I know this story comes up every once in a while, different versions of it when people hear a new nugget, but most recent, I think it was on the most recent Father's Day, one of the kids posted on Instagram, "Happy Father's Day to my father, who's a complete asshole." I'm paraphrasing, but
what's funny about that? That was from a couple Father's Day ago, but they redid it. They pushed it out as a story this year, but that was from a couple of years ago.
I thought it was from this past year.
And it was from his private Instagram account. Was it Maddox? It was from a private Instagram account.
They're
so somebody
all the same.
Screenshotted it. Yeah.
What are they?
It was Archimedes. It was from Archimedes.
Yeah. They're all one thing. Is one of them named Shiloh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Shiloh's the one
it's a biologically
is their biological child,
together,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, they have two biological children.
Right.
But they have like 8 kids, right?
Something like that. Between
That's
6 and 8.
Are they still having kids together? Have they? Is that one of the businesses they keep going? Yeah.
I remember when Beyonce had Blue Ivy. The SNL did like a thing that was like all the celebrities coming over to like wish Beyonce like happiness, and like two of the people played like Brad and Angelina, and Angelina's line was like, "Hey, sweet cheeks, like I just had to come over and see. My mothering instincts told me that a new baby was in the world, and I had to come see it." And it was like truly the funniest thing in the whole fucking world. But like that really was what we thought of her, was like this crazy woman who just wanted to have 900 kids and like truly just adopt every child from a country that was outside of the United States that was in turmoil.
Well, I mean, completely. And I have to like it's really weird in my head because even after all of this information or the mystery, I still love Brad Pitt. I think he's an amazing actor. What I think, is so interesting that they've been able to keep it so cloudy is that you still love this man. I mean, he won Best Actor for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, that was where we had that Golden Globe moment of him and Jennifer Aniston holding hands briefly in the, that everybody freaked out about. Yes. And it was like, all was forgiven. It was like, oh my God, Angelina Jolie was the one that ruined this relationship. So it's interesting that Angelina Jolie has had to fight her youth, her whole life. So no matter how much charity work she's done, no matter all this, she will still have to always kind of fight this rebellious youth that potentially broke up the marriage, because Brad Pitt didn't take he didn't play a part in that. Who could resist themselves around Angelina Jolie? But it's interesting. Like, that's the thing, is that I always kind of sometimes wonder, when is the house of cards going to fall for Brad Pitt? Because Angelina Jolie will like nail her to the cross still, but Brad Pitt has escaped real big public persecution. TikTok, I think they go at him on TikTok a lot, but for the most part.
I hate to be cynical, but until they change genders, it's just going to be Angelina's fault in the media. That's just, that's the story that's the story that pop culture has chosen, is that she stole somebody away. She stole away a hot guy from America's Sweetheart. And no one's going to be mad at the dude. They're only going to be mad at the villainess. And then she decides to be Maleficent. And if that wasn't just a fuck you to the entire planet, she has my respect for even taking the role, because just like anytime she's going to be a villain, it's almost like, are we getting a peek into you admitting it? I just felt like her taking that part, and it was just like, fuck you. If you want to think this is who I am in real life, go for it.
But that's the other thing is that I also, and this is like something wrong with me, I judge Angelina Jolie's movie roles she takes. Of like, I like Brad Pitt, like he's trying to strive to be a great actor. Every movie, there's a specific reason. And with Angelina Jolie, I always feel like they're money movies, like The Eternals or Maleficent, like, and all their sequels, because they're doing a third one of those. And I feel like, damn, you're just in it for the paycheck. Like, and that's, by the way, I know that's not true, but you know, for me, that's sometimes how I've judged it in the past of Brad Pitt. Here's this artist, you know, and also Brad Pitt, you know, now the story's like, you know, he's sculpting, you know, he has an art studio. He's you know, so deep into art.
Yeah. No, but meanwhile, she's like, I need to do one movie so I can pay all of my kids' bills and like save all the elephants.
But how wait?
She has to take any job she can because she's raising 8 children and their father is sculpting.
Does Brad Pitt, like, what is, well, that's the other question. Everything's secretive. I don't know the custody agreement. I don't know how much he pays a month in child support. Does he pay for the other, like, does he pay for the first one that he wasn't fully around for in the very beginning? Like, those are the questions. But like, I feel like those kids don't seem to want to be photographed with him ever in public.
Well, I remember like before the private plane and all that stuff.
If we saw Angelina with Billy Bob, we would not have nearly the same reaction as we did with Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. Like they were, you know, these America's sweethearts kind of things. It's like, you know, and it also harkens back to those relationships that we all have as normies. You know, like one of my dad, he would always listen to this Dan Fogelberg song, Same Old Lang Syne, where it's like this takes place on like New Year's Eve, where he goes to a grocery store and he bumps into one of his exes and they sit in a car and talk about the years. And I think there's this aspect of us that still want to believe in, wow, they love each other still. They're sitting around talking about the good times and not focusing on the bad. And with Angelina Jolie, we think about the bad times.
Yeah.
You know?
Because she was painted as a villain to us. If people saw Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie in public together, they would think what people think when they see me and Chris in public together, which is, why is this scraggly old person around such beauty? The beauty that is Chris DeRosa.
Such an idiot.
Are they father-daughter? What's happening over here?
Something's not right here. Yeah. This is like...
I'm really torn with if I think they should be like, if I should pitch them together or separately.
I mean, this is a decision.
Well, but Angelina Jolie, since then, it doesn't seem like she has any real investment on rehabbing her image, because even when she's tried to make big moves, like dating The Weeknd for a second. Remember when she was going out to dinner with The Weeknd?
No.
Oh, don't you remember that?
I remember that.
No,
look up The Weeknd Angelina Jolie. Look at it. Like, in fact, that like The Weeknd, like there's supposedly like a lyric in one of his songs referencing Angelina Jolie, but they met up for a bunch of like Giorgio Baldi dinners, and it was always, and like, will they, won't they? And it never really came to fruition, but go look it up. There's like a string of
because it was
fake.
It was for press. That's why. Like, what do you
but
mean?
even then, like, she's not been able to she stayed away from the big overall PR moves, and has kind of confused us in a lot of ways, because she still goes knee deep in the charity. But whatever Brad Pitt did, she is still, I feel, out to get him and make him pay. But how rooted in misogyny is all this too? Like, this is
no, 100%. I mean, that's exactly what Dominic said earlier. It's like, yeah, Brad Pitt's gonna skate out of this scot-free, although we know that there was like domestic violence. So regardless, like, he's always going to be the hottest person in the world, and she's always going to be a homewrecker.
Pretty much,
unless they listen to my pitch.
We're at that moment. Yeah,
I think we are, right? Anything else? Any other things that we need to talk about with them?
If Brad or Angelina are listening, I'm so sorry for anything that I said that might have upset you today. I'm very sorry.
They are.
That's very nice of you. And if you are upset with anything, please attribute it us to Chris and I, because we thrive on negative publicity. You can even make shit up, and we'll be fine with it.
Do your worst.
That would be that'd be great where you guys have to fix your own careers.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Well, I mean,
we should do a Patreon, actually, Chris. You and I should just fix each other and then watch how fragile our friendship actually is, right?
See how mad we can
watch
each
the
other.
podcast end.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I guess the floor is yours.
Wow.
Angelina Jolie.
Does this mean you're fixing them separately?
I am going to fix them separately because this is what I think. Coming into this, I thought they need to like not get back together, but like be together all the time. But I actually think they hate each other, so I don't want that for either of them. Mainly her, physically. Like I don't want her to be in his wake. So Brad Pitt, you don't need you just do what you do. I have 0 notes for Brad Pitt because he is already impervious to anything that we do. Like he just showed up somewhere and people were having a mental breakdown that he was alive. So what do I need to do? I don't think anything. He'll be in some stupid ass fucking movie that gets nominated for 95 Oscars and is 4.5 hours long and about nothing that we're all going to watch in 2 years. So he's good to go. I want Angelina Jolie to do a series of documentaries on a streaming service where every episode she is highlighting one of her causes. She doesn't want to be an actor anymore. And she doesn't really give a fuck about anything. And she does Maleficent 4 because she needs to, again, pay for all of her kids' private schooling because Brad is an alcoholic and is a deadbeat father. And so she...
Who you have 0 notes for, I might add.
Yeah,
Go on.
No, I mean, I don't need... I think that she needs to do a series. Like, I want to see her in a caravan in Africa saving the elephants. And I want to see her. I think it's really because she talks about all the charities. We've yet to see her at the charities. Like, I want like a 10-part docuseries where you see like, holy fucking shit. She is straight up like helicoptering on top of poachers and like destroying them and like getting them caught. Like, I want to see her like going to do aid in a country and like truly you see her like organizing a relief effort. I want to see, you know, all these charities that she talks about, like I want to see her doing them. And it's just 10 straight solid episodes of her being like the only person trying to save the world. Because I think that she does that, she can get like one little bit of respect from people and like maybe not just be a homewrecker, but I don't know, maybe not. But that's the best. She doesn't want to act. So I was going to say be a movie star again, but she doesn't want to be a movie star. And I don't even know if I really want her to be a movie star. So that is my pitch.
Brad Pitt, deadbeat dad, child abuser, infidel. I also have 0 notes, even with all those negative qualities, because
serial killer.
You passed the test. You're beautiful and sinless as a result. I don't know what to say. I'm looking at photos of you right now. This person is the very definition of charm. I don't care what he does. We as a society will never not be in love with someone this physically beautiful, who every role he plays, every time he's in public, it's this effortless, cool. He is who we all want to be. He's just that person. And until he actually does commit murder, and even after that, we're just going to be in love with him. I feel terrible. I feel misogynist. I feel irresponsible, but that's just who this guy is. And
that's simply the facts.
It's just, he's the most beautiful person maybe who's ever walked the earth. If you have a chance to see, I believe it's 1991, the movie A River Runs Through It with him and Tom Skerritt and Brenda, I mean, you are looking at absolute perfection at the peak of his physical perfection. You will fall in love.
Is this the one where he was wearing that cowboy hat and like no shirt?
That's Legends of the
that's
Fall.
Thelma and Louise. No,
or Thelma and Louise. No, that's Thelma and Louise. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but also, Dominic, I want to point out that movie was directed by Robert Redford, and Robert Redford and Brad Pitt are very compared a lot because Robert Redford was so beautiful at, up until his like 70s, and then Robert Redford just became complete leather.
Right.
That's that. I mean, that's the only. By the way, the only way Brad Pitt will once Brad Pitt gets to that old Robert Redford age where people will start being like, wait a sec, he's not as good looking, and it's making me think about all the bad things he's done in his life.
Maybe he's never going to get there. Old people in Hollywood don't wrinkle. anymore. This is Redford's the last. These movie stars, look, I'm looking at a recent picture of Brad Pitt, and although he's not wrinkle free, he's supposed to have more wrinkles at 60 than he did.
It's ridiculous.
He's never
I
gonna
have more
not.
wrinkles than Brad Pitt.
He's
and never forget,
absolutely
sorry
beautiful.
to interrupt, but never forget like the Fight Club movie poster that like every person in college had on their wall. Like, are you kidding me?
No, it turned people gay.
Yeah.
It literally turned men gay. Just the image, not even the movie, just the image. These are hard people to fix because I don't know that their image will ever be. It's very difficult. So I'm going to fix them together very simply. And my pitch is a 1-year contract, Brad and Angelina as George and Martha on Broadway in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, the end. And that is it. Just like when Bette Midler did it, you were like, holy shit, she's finally on Broadway in the dream role. It was 1 year in and out. Do the same thing. They will be the cause celeb for a full year. My only alternate idea is if it turns out that, as does happen sometimes with movie stars on Broadway, you're like, wow, they really don't have any talent. If they wanted to remake the Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas film War of the Roses, I would take that as a second place prize.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Romancing the Stone. I was like, oh, wow.
I mean, that would be cute. I like War of the Roses just because it's about a divorcing couple that ends up killing each other. I don't know. Maybe this time they'll be in a movie together that is their lives. It'll be Girl Interrupted meets Benjamin Button. And that's it. I'm sorry it had to be so circus, but I don't know if they're going to change.
You've never had an option B pitch also.
They're sort of the same flavor. I need them to play I need them to play a screaming couple. I was going to really fuck around and say they should be in on Golden Pond, but no one would buy it. Even though they're literally almost at the age where they could be in on Golden Pond now.
True.
Wait, did you say clitorally?
I did. Oh, Ryan,
sure
this is our signature word. Yes.
Amazing. Okay.
I apologize. We haven't said it before.
Just want to make sure Riverside was working for me. I have a reason why I'm not going with this person is that, Chris, unfortunately, your pitch is kind of already happening, is that she is not signed on to host, but she is producing a refugee sports documentary right now called We Dare to Dream that was pitched, that was actually, in December, the press release went out for this. So she has started to put her name on, yet not hosting. But my fear is with your...
That's the problem.
My fear is with your pitch.
Problem.
But my fear is nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like the fact that I had to go look this up, nobody cares. It's not exciting in any sort of way.
Because we're not seeing her on camera. If you were watching her doing it, you would be like over the moon.
But you still need something to get us to watch it. Why am I going to watch her?
Angelina Jolie is not enough. The
No,
answer
not
might
at
be
this
no.
point.
Okay.
Not at this point. Not for me. I mean, like, if you have the right, if you have Salt 2, I'll go see Salt 2. I'll go see.
God.
What
a terrible movie.
I loved Salt. No, I loved it.
It was so
but
dumb.
you know what I'm saying? If you're playing in the sandbox that is today's pop culture, you do like that. I mean, I think already, when Angelina Jolie's, whenever she goes up to the big old box office in the sky, you're going to see all of this amazing work that she's done presented in a much different way. And I almost feel like in Afterlife, she's going to take on a second life that is going to kind of absolve her a lot of these. But I would say Dominick's ideas are so much more fun in that sense. But also the whole thing is like, I kept thinking that I wanted to pitch this third idea of like, I don't believe Angelina Jolie has any fun. She does not seem like a fun person.
No,
she does not seem like somebody you could joke. She doesn't. She, even if she smiles, it's like kind of this rare, occurrence, and she doesn't associate with kind of fun things. And I know that's very remedial, but like, my God, like we need to show that she has an amazing sense of humor in some way. Like even if you were going to actually produce a movie on the Brad and Angelina romance, but in a comedic look, like she needs to make peace with Brad and Angelina she needs to make peace with the Brangelina myth. She needs to make peace with it and almost be able to joke about it at a certain point. Unfortunately, with potential domestic abuse and things like that, I don't know if it's ever at a point where you can find it funny.
Right.
It's so
Well-
sad that she's the one that has to get through. It's just so sad.
Like most mothers, she's not going to smile again until those little bastards have apartments of their own. So it's going to be about 15 years probably until she can have a life and a smile.
And
go
settle
back to
down
the
with her brother.
weekend.
I know, literally. It's so sad. It's so sad because it's like she truly does like want to save the world, even if
Yes!
she's a fucking
Right?
nutcase psychopath. She really does believe that like she wants to use
Yes!
her fame for good, and that's like one of the only people that wants to do so. And like it's just so sad that like the whole world just like takes a huge shit on her every day.
She wants to fight famine. She wants to like, I mean, like, you know, such amazing work, but we do get hung up like celebrity. Like I always think with America, pop culture is our greatest export, and you do not, you do not hurt our heroes, you know, like, and for some reason we've got it ensconced that Angelina Jolie is the bad guy in this situation. I think we are under this impression that she still is this bad guy.
A woman scorned. That's who you always side with. And there's
literally, Dominic.
Literally.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter. You could find out that Jennifer Aniston used to beat the shit out of Brad Pitt, and you just wouldn't care. You would just
actually she did. I did hear that she did do that.
Oh God, I wish. Is that
no?
true?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
God damn it!
Oh my God.
But you, everyone will always side with her forever.
Yeah,
Jennifer. Yeah. I don't know that there's anything. If Angelina only all the work she did, forming an orphanage, saving animals and humans across the globe, and all anyone's going to care about is that she broke up. What were they called? Brennifer?
Nothing. They didn't have a name. That was pre-names.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right, because they were before Benifer, Brad and Jen.
Yes. And it's funny because the episode of Friends that he does with her, he hates her.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in the episode, he like hates her. And it's so funny because it was like they were together and they were like the hottest couple in the world. It's crazy. I could talk about Friends all day. Anyway, Dominic, beautiful win again. I didn't think you were going theater. You have pitched similar to this before, and you always win with it. I should learn this, but I did not think you were going theater, and that it is a beautiful pitch.
I love a road show, but I kept them on Broadway because I want people to return to the theater.
No, they can't be touring. Are you kidding me? What are they? Pieces of white trash?
Can you imagine like someone going to Central, Brad and Jen, Brad, oh my God, you see what I did there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the story. And then one night, Angelina falls ill with a mild case of COVID-19, and the only person to take her place on stage is Jennifer Aniston, who had the play memorized.
Could you imagine the audience reaction? The audience reaction, it would Big Bang Theory.
Oh, my erection. We've got to make this happen. We've got to do it.
Oh, God, Dominic, congratulations. Ryan,
thank
you so much for being with us.
Thank you. This was a true joy. I really, honestly.
For us too. Honored to have you here. You are slaying in all ways.
Sorry if I overtalked. I overtalk when I get really excited about something, but this was a very exciting topic, and you guys are so good at this. This was just truly a joy. So thank you.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
We were about to apologize for if we didn't let you talk, actually, which is usually what happens. So thank you.
Dominic and I just talk at each other at the exact same time the whole time.
It's a fight. It's just a fight.
Fixing Famous People Nation.
Yeah. You sounded a little bit too much like someone that could host The Bachelor whenever you said that.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Dominic, Chris really came at you today's episode. How are you feeling about
You really do sound like Chris Harrison there. You really do.
Yeah. Ryan, where can people find you?
The show's called So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. We just signed Betches like a couple months ago. And so go take a listen. We have tons of interviews, tons of reality show stuff, pop culture. So just pick and choose. There's plenty to choose from. You don't have to listen to everything. Just do whatever hits your fancy. And then we have a YouTube channel, So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey, and the Instagram account where I just do a lot of silly memes. So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey, and patreon.com/So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey if you want even more than that.
Woo!
Amazing. Dominic, where can people find you?
The website's dominterry.com. The @ is Dominick Pupa, or just find me on the Fixing Famous People Insta page and link up with me from there. Chris, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People. You can find the Patreon at patreon.com/fixingfamouspeople. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pike, so get ready. I wish you both well. And as always, where's Shelly? Goodbye.